A mother stands on a rocky hillside and does not leave. The sky above her is turning black in the middle of the afternoon. The air has gone cold. Her hands are shaking. Her mouth is dry. She has not eaten for a day. She has not slept for a night. And she is watching her son die. She is about 50 years old. Her hair is mostly gray now. Her body is small. Her feet are bleeding where she walked through Jerusalem in sandals that were never meant for this kind of day. Her name is Mary. And 33 years ago, when her son was 40 days old, an old prophet named Simeon held the baby in the temple and said 7 words to her. A sword will pierce your own soul. For 33 years she carried that warning. Today, it is coming. And for the next 6 hours, the sword Simeon promised her is going to go through her soul, slowly, inch by inch, while she stands on a hill outside Jerusalem and watches her only son bleed. The Gospels give us almost no words for this moment. 4 women at the cross, 1 verse about what Jesus said to his mother, and then darkness. But behind those verses is a woman's body doing the hardest thing a human body has ever been asked to do. Standing, watching, not leaving. This is what those 6 hours actually felt like. Before the hill, there was the road. The Via Dolorosa, less than half a mile from Pilate's judgment hall to the execution hill. Down one street, up another, through the Geneth Gate on the north side of the city, and out. Mary walks it behind him. She cannot get close. Roman soldiers are holding back the crowd. Her son has been flogged already. He is carrying the crossbeam across his shoulders. He falls once, then again. The soldiers pull a man from the crowd, Simon of Cyrene, and force him to carry the wood the rest of the way. Mary stays behind them. Her sister is with her. Mary Magdalene is with her. 4 women walking the same road they walked in joy just days ago when the city shouted, Hosanna. Luke tells us other women in the crowd are weeping loudly, beating their breasts. Her son turns and tells them not to weep for him. Mary is silent. Her whole body is holding something in. Every step she takes, she is doing math she cannot stop. He was born in a stable. He took his first steps in Nazareth. He said his first words to her. He learned Joseph's trade with his hands. He grew. He left. He came home for Passover. And now she is walking behind him while Roman soldiers carry the wood they are going to nail him to. They reach the hill at mid-morning. The Romans call it Golgotha, the place of the skull, a small rise of limestone just outside the city walls, visible from the gate, visible from everywhere. Mary finds her place. John's gospel is precise. Near the cross of Jesus stood his mother. Near, not far, not in the crowd, near. Think about that word. She has walked as close as the Roman soldiers will let her come. Probably 20 feet. Close enough that she can see his face. Close enough that when he opens his eyes, he can see hers. The soldiers are doing their work. Mary's body will not let her look at what they are doing to his hands. She looks at the sky. She looks at the ground. She looks at the other women beside her. She is training her body not to collapse. Her sister is holding one of her arms. Mary Magdalene is holding the other. 2 women keeping 1 woman standing. Then the cross goes up. The worst 3 hours have not started yet. Now feel what is happening inside her. She has not eaten since last night. She has not slept. She walked from the house of the high priest to Pilate's hall to Herod's palace in the cold of a Jerusalem spring night. By the time she reaches the hill, her body is already breaking. Her legs are trembling. Her vision is blurring at the edges. She is dehydrated. She is in shock. And now she has to stand for hours on uneven ground. without food, without water, without rest, while her son's body slowly fails in front of her. This is the part nobody ever explains. Watching someone die is physically exhausting. Your heart rate climbs, your breathing gets shallow, your muscles cramp from tension. Your body wants to do something, run, fight, save him, and you cannot do any of it. So the energy goes nowhere. It burns you from the inside. Mary's body wants to save him. Every cell is screaming to save him. She carried him for 9 months. She wrapped him in swaddling cloths in a cold stable. She ran with him to Egypt to keep Herod's soldiers from killing him. And now she is 20 feet away, and she cannot do anything. All she can do is stand and not leave. Subscribe right now if you want to stay with her for the next 3 hours. Because what Jesus says to her next is one of the most overlooked sentences in the entire Bible. Jesus has been on the cross for hours. He has spoken several times. He has forgiven the soldiers. He has promised paradise to the thief beside him. And then he looks down and he sees his mother. He sees her standing there. He sees his sister. He sees Mary Magdalene. And he sees one man, one single man among the 12 who followed him, John, the disciple he loved. And from the cross, Jesus does something that no theologian has ever fully explained. He stops talking to God. He stops the cosmic work of redemption for a few seconds. And he uses his dying breath, literally breath he has to push up against the weight of his own body to produce, to take care of his mother. He looks at her and says, "Woman, behold your son." Then he looks at John and says, "Behold your mother." 4 words to her, 3 words to him. An entire future decided. He is giving her to John. He is making sure she will have a home. He is making sure that when this is over, the mother who gave him life will not be alone in her grief. John tells us what happened next. From that hour, the disciple took her to his own home. From that hour, not later, not eventually. From that hour, John never leaves her side again. Early Christian tradition says he took her to Ephesus years later and cared for her until she died. Step back, because this is the detail you have to see. The Son of God is dying. The sins of the world are being laid on him. The entire cosmic drama of Christianity is happening in this exact moment, on this exact cross. And Jesus stops to take care of his mom. Most people in their final hours are too consumed by their own pain to think of others. Most people are thinking of themselves, of the next breath, of escape. Jesus is thinking of her. He knows what Simeon told her 33 years ago. He knows about the sword. He knows that what is happening right now is the fulfillment of every warning she ever carried. And he knows that when he dies, she is going to be a middle-aged widow with a dead son and no one to take care of her. So he uses his dying breath to fix it. Every mother in your audience just felt something. Because every mother knows what it means to be seen by her child in her most vulnerable moment. Mary is about to lose everything. And the things she is about to lose looks down from a cross and makes sure she will be okay. For the rest of her life, Mary will remember that her son's last act as a free man was not forgiving his killers. It was not promising paradise. It was making sure his mother would have somewhere to sleep. Noon. The sky begins to change. Mark tells us darkness covered the land from the 6th hour until the 9th hour. Noon until 3 in the afternoon. 3 hours of unnatural night in the middle of the day. The sun goes out. The wind drops. The birds stop. Picture what Mary sees. The hillside is suddenly cold. The faces of the other women beside her go into shadow. The crosses become silhouettes against a sky that should be bright. She cannot see his face clearly anymore. She can only hear him. She hears him breathe, each breath harder than the last. She hears him try to lift his body up against the nails to get a little more air. She hears him fail. She hears him try again. This goes on for 3 hours. The Gospels do not tell us what Mary did during this time. They do not have to. Every person who has ever held vigil over a dying loved one knows. She stands. She listens. She tracks every breath. She waits for a silence she does not want to come. 3 in the afternoon. After 6 hours on the cross. After 3 hours of darkness. Her son speaks for the final time. John records the words. It is finished. Then his head drops forward. Mary hears it. The change in his breathing. The sound of a body she knew better than her own, finally going still. The moment she's been dreading since Simeon first put the words into her on a temple floor 33 years ago. She does not scream. She does not collapse. John says she stood. She just stood. Somewhere in Jerusalem, the curtain in the temple tears from top to bottom. The ground shakes. One of the soldiers looks up at the dead body on the cross and says, "Truly this man was the Son of God." Mary does not hear the soldier. Her body is no longer processing language. Her son is dead. That is the only sentence left in her head. The soldiers come forward. One of them drives a spear into his side to make sure. Blood and water pour out. Mary is still standing. She's been on this hill for almost 6 hours. She is dehydrated. She is broken. Her body is done, and she is still standing. Eventually, John puts his hand on her shoulder. Eventually, someone says it is time to go. Joseph of Arimathea comes with Nicodemus and myrrh and aloes. They take him down. Mary is there. She sees the face she has loved for 33 years, gone still. She sees the hands she held as a baby, pierced through. They wrap him in linen. They carry him to Joseph's new tomb. Mary walks behind them. John walks with her. She watches the stone roll across the entrance. She memorizes the location, the same way Mary Magdalene memorizes it. 2 mothers, one biological, one chosen, both doing the same terrible math. Then the Sabbath begins, and she has to go home. John took her to his own home from that hour. John is a fisherman from Galilee. He does not have a house in Jerusalem. He is probably staying in a borrowed room. That room is where Mary spends the first night after her son's death. In a borrowed bed, in a strange house, with a young man who now has to be her son, because her son is in a tomb. She does not sleep. Step back, see what she did. She walked the road to Golgotha behind him. She stood 20 feet from the cross for 6 hours, without food, without water, without sitting. She listened to her son's breathing fail for 3 hours in the darkness. She heard him use part of his dying breath to make sure she would have somewhere to live. She was there the moment he died. She watched a soldier drive a spear into his body. She did not leave. She followed the body to the tomb, and then she walked to a stranger's house and tried to survive the first night of the rest of her life. Simeon told her when she was a 14-year-old girl holding a 40-day-old baby, "A sword will pierce your own soul." For 33 years, she carried that warning. She did not know when it would come. It came on a Friday afternoon in April, on a hill outside Jerusalem, over 6 hours, while she stood and did not leave. Every mother who has ever watched her child suffer and not been able to stop it. Every parent who has ever held vigil by a hospital bed. Every human being who has ever loved someone through the worst hours of their life. all of them are walking in footprints Mary made on Good Friday. If this changed how you see Mary at the cross, subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear what those 6 hours actually cost her. And tell me, what hit you hardest? The 4 words Jesus said to her? The 3 hours of darkness? Or the moment she realized Simeon had warned her about this exact afternoon 33 years earlier? I read every comment. I'll see you in the next one.